If you've been scrolling through endless generator listings, reading specs that all look the same and still feel stuck on which unit actually makes sense for your home, this review is going to clear that up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks looking at the typical power needs of families during storms, talking to a few electricians about transfer switch compatibility, and digging through the warranty language that most brands hide behind glossy marketing. The goal here isn't to brag about a 12 kilowatt number on a sheet of paper, it's to see whether the Westinghouse 500 peak watt dual fuel generator actually delivers the peace of mind you expect when the grid goes dark. Let's start with the scenario that pushes most people into the market, a sudden outage during peak heating season. You're trying to keep the furnace running, the refrigerator humming, a few lights on for safety, and maybe even a small office setup if you work from home. The first question most buyers ask is, can this thing power everything I need without blowing a fuse? The Westinghouse model runs on either gasoline or propane, which already solves a common headache. You don't have to be locked into a single fuel source. If you keep a propane tank in the garage, you can switch to it when gasoline is scarce, and vice versa. That flexibility is a practical strength, especially in rural areas where fuel deliveries can be delayed. Now, the real-world power draw. The running wattage sits at 9,500 on gasoline and 8,500 on propane. That means you can comfortably handle a couple of essential circuits, a 30-amp dryer, a medium-size refrigerator, a few lights, and a small electric heater. I ran a quick mental checklist with a typical 3-bedroom home: furnace fan, 600W, fridge, 150W, a couple of LED lights, 30W total, a laptop charger, 70W, and a router, 15W. That's well under 1,000 watts, leaving plenty of headroom for a sump pump or a few power tools if you need them. The generator won't keep a full-size electric water heater or a central air conditioner running, but it's never marketed as a whole-house solution. It's a backup for the essentials, and it delivers on that promise. One practical weakness that pops up once you plug it in is the noise level. Westinghouse advertises a quiet run design, but at full throttle the engine still sounds like a small motorcycle. For most users that's acceptable if the unit is placed outside the home, but if you have a tight lot where the generator has to sit close to a bedroom window, you'll notice the hum. The good news is the remote electric start lets you fire it up from inside, so you don't have to brave the cold to pull a cord. Still, you might want to invest in a simple sound-absorbing enclosure or at least position the unit behind a fence to keep the noise from becoming a nighttime nuisance. Another point that often surprises first-time owners is the weight. At roughly 200 pounds, you'll need a dolly or a sturdy set of wheels to move it. The wheels are integrated, which makes rolling it onto a concrete pad fairly easy, but you'll still need a level surface and a clear path to the transfer switch. If you're looking for a generator you can wheel up a set of stairs or into a cramped garage, this isn't the best pick. On the flip side, the heavy-duty 457 cubic centimeters Westinghouse OHV engine is built for durability, and the company does factory functional testing on each unit. That gives you confidence the engine won't quit after a few startups, something that matters when you're relying on it during a multi-day outage. Speaking of the transfer switch, this model is transfer switch ready. That phrase means the generator's output is compatible with a standard 120/240 volt transfer panel, but you still have to buy and install the switch separately. If you're comfortable hiring an electrician and want an automatic switchover that isolates the home circuits, this generator pairs nicely. If you prefer a simple plug-in solution, you'll have to use the built-in GFCI outlets and manually connect appliances. The two 120-volt, 20-amp GFCI receptacles are a practical strength for charging power tools or running a TV, but they won't replace a dedicated transfer panel for whole home protection. Who should buy this generator? First, homeowners in regions that experience frequent thunderstorms, winter ice storms, or rolling blackouts and who need a reliable source for essential appliances. Second, DIY enthusiasts who already own a transfer switch or plan to install one, because the generator's output matches the typical 30-amp panel without requiring a custom wiring solution. Third, anyone who values fuel flexibility, having both gasoline and propane options can be a lifesaver if one fuel runs low during a prolonged outage. Who should skip it? If you live in an apartment building or a condo where you're not allowed to store a large fuel tank or a heavy generator, this unit will be a hassle. Also, if your primary goal is to run high-wage air conditioning or an electric water heater throughout